The well, the answer is I do believe in dividends in a great many situations, including many of the ones companies in which we own stock. The test about whether to pay dividends is whether you can
Want to get paid for doing nothing? Well, there is a way. One of the most successful and accessible ways to earn a passive income is through stock dividends. In this video, we're going to dig deeper and uncover some hidden gems that'll make you rethink everything you know about money making and dividend investing. You will be surprised to know that there is a major difference between how rich people and poor people spend money. And I am not talking about how rich people can buy more luxurious things. While rich people spend their money on things that can pay them back, poor people spend their money only on liabilities that consume money to operate. For instance, while rich people invest their money in stock dividends and real estate, poor people spend their money trying to look wealthy by getting an expensive car, a lavish house, and so on.
always been big fans of living within your income, and if you do that, you'll have a whole lot more income later on.
This is indeed the key difference, because rich people are not trying to look rich. Instead of it, they are trying to invest their money in something that helps them accumulate their wealth so that they will have money whenever they need it. I truly want you to use your money to get the assets that will give you money you need to never worry about that price tag of a product. Now, when I talk about these assets, there are actually two different ways to get you paid through them. The first one is through appreciation. Think of it this way. You buy an asset, and over time, its price goes up. You bought an asset for $200, and after some time, its price goes up to $400. Instead of keeping it, you decide to sell that asset. As a result, you are automatically paid $200. The second one is when you get paid just because you own that asset. Let's suppose that you buy an asset or investment for $200. Now, you will get paid $10 a year because you invested your money in the asset that pays you a passive income. Actually, there are a few ways that help you get this type of passive income. The two most common ways are investing in dividend-paying stocks and investing in real estate. In this video, I will explain how you can go from $0 to $1,000 passive income on a stock exchange with dividend stocks in the shortest time possible. As I mentioned before, there are two ways that you can profit from stock investments. Let's suppose that you purchase a share of Pepsi on the stock market. You get a share of the company for $100, which makes you one of the owners of the company. Pepsi then announces that it will be adding a new beverage to their list of existing beverages and drinks. Due to the announcement, many new investors start buying the shares. It helps raise the individual price of each share. Now, the share you bought for $100 is equivalent to $200. One way you could profit from the share is to sell it to another investor and earn the difference of $100. Meanwhile, the other is to get a dividend from Pepsi. Think about it for a second. Pepsi makes a lot of money annually and has a lot of cash. At the end of the year, they want to use the cash to either invest it back into the business to grow, save it for later investments, or pay their shareholders like yourself. Pepsi will pay a cash dividend to all their shareholders, including you, just for owning their shares. At the end of each year, Pepsi checks how much cash they've earned and how much they want to pay out to its shareholders. Pepsi currently pays around $5 dividend on each share. It means that just by owning a share, you will get $5 annually. Now, suppose you invest lots of money in the shares and manage to buy 100 shares of Pepsi. What it means is that now you will get around $500 annually without doing anything at all. You could obviously get more shares and get a higher dividend in the form of passive income. While you could own many more stocks, it may be impossible at the moment because you will need a seriously large amount of cash to buy it. But I am here to give you a blueprint to help you build up your wealth from these dividends in the form of passive income very quickly. Now let's talk about who is paying you a dividend, because not every company is eager to pay you a dividend for a share. Most companies that give you dividends are more mature and large in terms of their size. After all, these large companies are going to have a lot of cash sitting in their bank accounts at the end of the year. Small companies and startups are obviously not going to pay you dividends. It is mainly because they need the cash themselves for expanding their operations. Therefore, paying out dividends will affect them negatively. Since most startups are trying to grow quickly, they often have negative cash flows because they are prone to using investor money or debt for financing their operations and processes. Even if small businesses attempt to pay dividends, their investors will think these businesses are being unreasonable. After all, how can you pay dividends when you have limited cash at the end of the year and your business operations need investment? Therefore, if you're looking for great dividends, you will need to look at larger companies with substantial profits and years of experience in the market. Also look at REITs and high-yield ETFs. What are these?
They're the businesses that you buy once, and then you don't have to keep making capital investments subsequently. So you do not face the problem of continuous reinvestment involving greater and greater dollars because of inflation. That's one reason real estate in general is good during inflation.
REIT means Real Estate Investment Trust. It means if you invest in such a company, you are not really investing in real estate. Instead, you are investing in a company that is investing in real estate sectors. Not to mention, by law, REITs are required to pay 90% of their taxable incomes back to their shareholders through dividends. What it means is REITs tend to have higher paying dividends than any other stocks in the market. Next best thing you can do is invest in high-yield dividend ETFs. These are funds that invest in high dividend-paying companies. If your goal is to build your portfolio and earn significantly from passive income, you could go and buy shares of different high dividend-paying companies individually, or, as an alternative, you could go and invest in an ETF like VYO or VYM that invests your money automatically in different high dividend-paying companies. This way, you automatically get exposure to some of the best dividends to improve your passive income. The ETFs are like stocks traded on stock exchanges. There are different ways that you can check how much dividend a company is paying. One way is to navigate the web and check different investment websites. The second is to download an application on your phone. There are many apps like the Dividend Tracker and 22 Dividends, which you can download on your phone and use them to track different dividends. It can help inform your investment and make sure that you are automatically investing in attractive dividends. The easiest way to check recent dividends paid by a company is to ask Google, and it will immediately display the information at the top of a search result. Now, I am interested in making at least $1,000 in passive income on a monthly basis through dividends. It means that my goal is to get to at least $12,000 a year through passive income. Not to mention, I can get 2.5% dividend, which means that I am going to need over $300,000 in my bank account to purchase stocks to make sure that I get that $1,000 through dividends in the form of passive income. Initially, it seems like a lot, and you may even think about letting it pass. Well, here is the secret sauce. In case you are truly interested in winning the passive income game, you need to understand that this game is all about compounding.
Probably when I was 7 or so, I took this book out of the Benson Library called 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. And one of the ways in this book was having penny weighing machines. And I sat and calculated how much it would cost to buy the first weighing machine and then how long it would take for the profit for that one to buy another one. And I would sit there and create these compound interest tables to figure out how long it would take me to have a weighing machine for every person in the world.
Actually, if you really want to get to the $1,000 mark quickly, you need to consider doing two different things. First of all, you need to consistently invest in your dividend-paying stocks, and the second thing is to compound your dividends. Let me explain using the example of Pepsi to keep it all simple. About a decade ago, Pepsi's stock was priced at $54 per share, and they were paying a dividend of $2.10 per year, which is equal to 54 cents every quarter. If you had invested $1,000 in 2012 to buy Pepsi shares, you would have been able to purchase approximately 18 shares, because each share cost only $54 back then. Over the course of that year, you would have earned only $38 in dividends. Now, fast forward to the end of 2022. Those same 18 shares of Pepsi stock you bought would have paid you $81 in dividends. This increase occurred because the dividend payments went up. Now, let's introduce another factor into this scenario. Instead of investing only $1,000 in Pepsi stock, let's say you invested $540 every month, which would amount to about 10 shares of Pepsi each month. Over the past decade, this would have resulted in you acquiring a total of $1,200 in shares of Pepsi. In 2022, Pepsi paid its shareholders $4.50 per share annually. This means that in 2022, you would have earned $5,400 in passive income through dividends, simply by owning the Pepsi stock that you accumulated over the years. Imagine now that you're investing $1,000 every month, buying 10 shares of Pepsi each time. But here's the twist. Instead of cashing out your dividend checks, let's assume that you use that money to buy even more shares of Pepsi. So every year, you'll be purchasing more shares that will generate even higher dividends, which means that you can use those to buy more shares. It's like a cycle of buying more shares and earning more dividends. With this strategy, instead of owning 1,200 shares of Pepsi, you'll end up owning around 1,500 shares. As a result, you'll be making nearly $6,700 per year in passive income. Even if you don't invest any additional money into the company, Pepsi will already be paying you $6,700 annually. By reinvesting your dividends, you'll be buying an additional $6,700 worth of Pepsi stock each year without spending any more money. Your wealth will start to snowball, gaining momentum. If you continue to buy stocks as usual and reinvest your dividends, you'll reach the $1,000 passive income milestone in less than 5 years. And it won't stop there. You'll be able to quickly double that amount. Oh, and here's another exciting part. If you own 1,500 shares of Pepsi stock through this strategy, you'll also have a nest egg worth nearly $500,000 that you build up gradually. As you keep growing your passive income, your wealth snowball will start rolling on its own. Every time you add more money, it's like packing more snow onto the snowball, making it roll bigger and faster, accelerating your wealth creation. Because I will buy more, I try to keep my competitive spirit in a game where I can win. Warren Buffett. Now it is up to you to add more money to the reinvestment and get your snowball bigger. If you want to grow your wealth quicker, there are a couple of things you could do. For instance, you can consider investing your money into stocks that will provide you with higher dividends, because there are definitely many firms that are offering you 2 to 3 times higher dividends than Pepsi. However, to do things the right way, there are 3 different things you require. First of all, you need the right education and information, because without it, you will end up making poor decisions. Second, you need to consider making compounding an important part of your strategy. And third, you need consistency, because without that, you will not get any impressive results. Just remember that investing is not something that you can do to get rich overnight. Think of it as a marathon. You need to be steady and consistent to keep on rolling. Many people think of investing as a lottery, which is completely wrong. It will not make you rich in a day or even a month. It is probably going to take a few years, but what I do know is that these years will be worth it. After all, in these years, you will be investing your money in assets that do not consume your money and even provide back to you. Not to mention, over the years, you will be reinvesting your money again into these assets, which will further add to your overall pool of wealth. This way, you're able to build up your wealth and have the money later on that you will need to get anything you need without worrying about the price tag.
I just read and read and read. I probably read 5 to 6 hours a day. I don't read as fast now as when I was younger, but I read 5 daily newspapers. I read a fair number of magazines. I read 10Ks. I read annual reports, and I read a lot of other things too. So I've always enjoyed reading. I love reading biography.
To make the most of passive income, It's important to stay patient and take things gradually. Being steady and patient in your approach is crucial. I suggest reading books on investments to broaden your understanding. Successful investors, including Warren Buffett, follow this practice too.